Hey, it's Friday, which means it's Final Friday. Coming to you to talk a little bit about some business sales today. And more importantly, I'm going to try to be brief because I somehow threw out my back earlier today. I am 32 years old and apparently I'm in a 60-year-old body. So it reminds me of that Parks and Rec episode. If you've ever seen it, it's a great show where one of the main characters gets a hernia and he says, it's totally fine. It's totally doable as long as I don't move left or right or try to breathe. It's totally okay. That's pretty much how I feel right now is I'm sitting in my chair and I'm not moving at all whatsoever. It is excruciatingly painful, even though it probably doesn't sound that way. And so there are some things I do want to talk about just very briefly, but we're going to be short today. We're going to be quick today. Hey, I want to tell you, if you like these kinds of conversations, if you like talking business, sales, marketing, what have you, I want to invite you first things first to jump into our growth group. It's a Facebook group. It meets every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Central Time. We have some people who attend who are from our local Northwest Arkansas community. Some are all the way from Michigan, from Wisconsin, from West Virginia, from Boston, people from all over. You are welcome to join. You're welcome to jump in and really have a conversation with us. There's no presentation. There's no curriculum we go through. It's not a book club, but it's called a growth group because we're talking about how do you actually grow your business. And so if that's something you'd be interested in, there's no selling whatsoever. It's literally just how do we grow our businesses. Definitely jump into our Facebook group. It's called NWA Growth Group. You can find it on Facebook, and I'll also put the description in the episode description down below. But what we'll be talking about this Tuesday is exactly what today's podcast episode is all about. Is it ethical to sell during a pandemic? Or rather, detaching ourselves from coronavirus. Is it ethical to sell at all when times are tough, when times are hard, when circumstances are challenging? Now, here's what I'm not saying. I'm not saying that circumstances don't make sales difficult. I'm not saying that if there's a downturn in your business that you're doing something wrong. But I think it's an important question to ask because especially as I talk to different entrepreneurs, as I talk to different business owners, especially younger business owners, maybe haven't been in the game as long, there's really this sense of guilt. There's this sense of, well, I don't want to inconvenience someone. There's a sense of, I'm going to offer my services for free because I don't want to put someone out. And these things are all, for the most part, they're based in really good intentions. However, they are completely detrimental. In fact, they're a bit nonsensical for the direction you should be taking your business. Now, here's what I'm not saying. I'm not saying that when times are tough, that now is the time to really amp up your business in the sense of how can you get a leg up on someone? How can you take advantage of someone? I mean, don't be crazy. Don't be stupid. And frankly, don't be, a flat out bad person. You want to be someone who, especially when times are tough, you want to be flexible for your clients. If people typically have a certain pay schedule with you, if they need to move that out a month or move that out in a certain way, maybe they we're going to pay it all up front. Now they want to know if there's different payment terms they can have. I mean, I would say definitely be that business that you're making things easy for them. Because understand this. Let's just talk about coronavirus, for example. Coronavirus right now is so stressful to navigate that you don't want to be the reason that someone is even more stressed out. So calling to terms someone's pay status, getting after people, someone wants to return a product you've sold them and you really put them over a barrel, you make it really challenging for them. All of these things, it is, already it's bad business practices, but especially during a pandemic, these are bad business practices that are going to really exponentially hurt your business long term. So I'm not talking about being inflexible. I'm not talking about taking advantage of people. I'm not talking about hoarding bottles of sanitizer and selling it at an insane markup. I'm talking about literally just the functionality of your business. Should you be out there getting sales and trying to grow your business? And there's two different lines of thinking here, or rather there's two things to overcome if you're going to continue to have a profitable, sustainable business. The first one is the misunderstanding that no one is buying. And that's understanding that the economy is not looking good right now. Lots of people are unemployed. We had stimulus checks go out because all of us were in a tough spot financially, or maybe just not as good a spot financially. And so what can happen is the thinking, well, times are so hard, so there's no point running my business. There's no point selling. There's no point meeting with people. And I'm telling you, if that's your thinking, you are way off base and you are killing your ability to be sustainable in this challenging time. It's like a sales team I talked to as a guy. He was talking about his sales team. This would have been maybe at the height of the pandemic, early April. He said, I told my sales team to basically go home. There's no point because no one's buying right now, which is crazy to me because I literally have a client who around that same time, I was talking to them and they said, sales have literally never been better. We're literally, we are making more money than we've ever made before. In fact, literally the week after this pandemic started in late March, I made more money in 1 week than I had made the entire year. And so people are making money, which means if you are thinking no one's buying, that is an issue. Literally, we call it basically, it's a false belief. It's an unsustainable belief. It is an obstacle that you are allowing to frame your perspective in business. And it's not unlike the same limiting beliefs that people have whenever it comes to pricing, where they say, oh, I must not be worth very much. Well, who would want to buy this from me? And so I would challenge you, if your thinking is no one's buying right now, well, you might want to challenge that a little bit. You might want to rethink that a little bit. It's funny because I was talking to someone the other day and they were like, well, no one's buying cars right now. Who would be crazy enough to go out and buy a car? And then I heard about a used car dealership that has made more sales in the last 2 months than they have literally in the last 12 months. People, for whatever reason, they're trying to be mobile, they're trying to get around, and it's actually led to an uptick in sales. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't industries that have been affected. I'm not saying that I haven't been affected. I'm just saying, go ahead and just flat out reframe your thinking that no one's buying right now. And so let's cut to the chase. Is it okay to sell someone right now? Is it okay to charge full price? Is it okay to charge what you're worth and to charge for whatever service or product that you are offering? The answer, of course, is yes. And in many cases, this means reframing what it is exactly that you offer. If the way you view your business is just dollars and cents, and it's impersonal, and you're just looking for the next sale, then right now, I could understand you thinking, well, I feel bad taking money from people. But if your thinking is what I offer is something that legitimately helps someone else, then you shouldn't feel bad at all about taking money from someone. So for me, for example, I literally, for a living, I help people grow and sustain their businesses. They take their business, however much money they make, and they make more money from working with me. Now, I shouldn't feel guilty about offering that service because right now, there are people who desperately need their businesses to be flipped into a profitable way. There's people who desperately need help growing their business. And so if I am viewing it correctly, if I'm seeing it as, okay, I'm offering something that's meaningful, then I shouldn't feel guilty about charging for that service. And in the same way, you can't let someone make you feel apologetic, feel guilty, tell you that you're wrong for selling something right now. That's crazy. That's asinine. It's totally nuts. Shouldn't think that. And so the too long didn't listen version of this episode, is it ethical to sell right now? Yes, absolutely. Hey, if you want to talk more about this specifically, you want to talk about what you can sell, maybe your stock's been down, or maybe your sales have been down, you're looking for new opportunities, definitely jump into our growth group. We'll talk more about it this upcoming Tuesday. Hey, as always, thanks for listening. I appreciate you. I'll see you later.